This video is about applying ratios formed by parallel lines and identifying similar figures with overlapping triangles. So, side splitter theorem, if a line is parallel to one side of the triangle and it intersects the other side, it divides those sides proportionally. So, for example, if BD is parallel to AE, then CB over BA has to be equal to the proportion of CD over DE. It does not mean that the sides are equal. It just means that they reduce to the same ratio. Okay, remember that side splitter can never be used for the parallel lines of the triangles. So number one, solve for the missing variables. So in this case, the sides that correspond would be CB and BA and CD and DE. So we can just put each of those sides over each other to set up two ratios. So we have x over 12 equals 15 over 18, and we can cross multiply right away. So when we cross multiply, we get 18x equals 12 times 15, which is 180. And when we divide by 18, we get that x is 10. In number 2, we have to be careful. So to solve for x, we can still use side splitter. So the side that corresponds is 6 and x plus 5, 9, and 15. So to solve for x, we're able to use side splitter because those aren't parallel sides. So we would have 6 over x plus 5 equals 9 over 15. So when we cross multiply, we get 9 times x plus 5 equals 90. 9x plus 45 equals 90. We can subtract 45 from both sides, so 9x equals 45, x is 5. Now, to solve for y, we have to be careful. We can't use this side splitter. So instead, we need to know this whole length of the side is 24. So we know that 9 corresponds with 24 and 15 corresponds with y. So we have to use the whole side when we're looking for the parallel side. So we get 9 over 24 equals 15 over y. We can cross multiply. 9y equals 360. When we divide by 9, y is 40. Now, we can apply the idea of side splitter to all parallel lines with transversals. So if we have 3 or more parallel lines that are cut by 2 transversals, then the transversals are divided proportionally. So just like the sides of the triangle were divided proportionally, so are the transversals. So in this case, we could say that A over B is equal to D over E, instead of having to use the whole length of C and F. So number 3, in order to solve for x, we see that we have x and 8 on the same side and x plus 11 and 20 on the same side. So we're going to set up a proportion using those. So x plus 2 over 8 equals x plus 11 over 20. So when we cross multiply, we get 20 times x plus 2 equals 8 times x plus 11. We can distribute 20x plus 40 equals 8x plus 88. We can subtract 8x from both sides, so 12x plus 40 equals 88. We can subtract 40 from both sides, so 12x equals 48. And when we divide, x is 4. In number 4, we have a bunch of variables to solve for, x, y, and z. So first of all, we need to know what the length of BC is. So we know if this whole side is 32, we can do 32 minus the part of 20 to get that BC is 12. So we need 4 sections in order to solve for a variable. So we can use these center sections to solve for x. So we have 12 over 20, and we have x over 16. So we get 12 over 20 equals x over 16. When we cross multiply, we get 20x equals 192. And when we divide by 20, we get that x is 9.6. So far we know that this part is 9.6. To solve for y, we need 4 sections. So I'm going to use the bottom 4 sections. So 20 corresponds with y plus 15, and 16 goes with 14 because they're on the same side of their lines. So to set up our proportion, we have 20 over y plus 15 equals 16 over 14. So when we cross multiply, 16 times y plus 5 equals 280. We can distribute the 16, so 16y plus 80 equals 280. Subtract the 80, so 16y equals 200. And we divide by 16. We get that y is 12.5. Then to solve for z, we can use the top 4 sections. So we would have z plus 5 over 12 and z plus 3 over x, which we already know that x is 9.6. So we have z plus 5 over 12 equals z plus 3 over 9.6. So when we cross multiply, we get 9.6 times z plus 5 equals 12 times z plus 3. So we get 9.6z plus 48 equals 12z plus 36. So we can subtract 9.6 from both sides, and we get 48 is equal to 2.4z plus 36. We can subtract 36 from both sides. 12 equals 2.4z. And when we divide, we get that z equals 5.